Don't get excited. This is not our house. We are actually begging a lodging. We are borrowing a lodging from our sister production, the Pivot series, because Shaka and I have been so busy, right, that if we did not cut out this time to film this episode of Bajan Renovation, we didn't get in the show. And I don't know if you've missed me, but I've missed talking to you all. So with all the theatrics, I want you to know that this episode of Bajan Renovation is filmed in front of a live studio audience. And I have all your updates. I'm Kelly Johnley. Let's get started. All right, guys, so we have been up to a lot of different things, so much so I can't even get these braids stuck out my head, but don't worry, next time you see me I'll be looking fresh. So what have I been up to? What have we been up to? Now, you know, I've been updating these stories, so this roundup of activity is in no particular order, and I have to give this disclaimer because Shaka has his pride. If you see the footage looking a little shaky, that's because we haven't spent a lot of time together since our last recording, so I've been trying to get all these different clips with my cell phone, so he wants you to know if this thing looks not properly lit and not stabilized, it is not him. So you're gonna be seeing a bit of my mom in these clips because now that we're at the finishing stage, you know, there's got some people, they're in there to pour on a concrete with you, but they're gonna come when it comes to pick pretty things. So mommy went with me to get the paint, the remaining paint from Bajan. Now, you know, we had gone back and forth on the paint colors. You know, y'all don't like white, but y'all have come around. Well, I chose a nice coral color for the front door. Actually, Javier from Bajan chose the color. So how that happened, I went to get the eggplanty color that we had initially talked about, but now that I saw the green and the wood from the kitchen, it was really being a little too literal for the eggplantiness for me. So I just went to him, see there was no survey, there was no public opinion poll, and said, hey, look, this is the color of the exterior. Can you make a recommendation? And because he's watched the show, he was up to tune, and that was the recommendation that we got. So our front door is done, and the interior doors have also been painted. Those are being painted white. I can't take no more colors, guys. I am colored out. So those finishing touches are taking place, and because we are at the true outer pocket stage of this project, I get sent to the shop a lot now. Okay, so we had a little field trip when I went up by Carter's, because now that I went and got the paint, because bear in mind I now have to go and get the paint, I had to go and get some painting supplies that they also needed. So Carter's ain't too far from the house and is next to a wine world, and I felt like I should kill two birds with one stone because we're also at the drinking stage of this project. So I'm getting my little education on painting. I think I'm one of those people who, prior to this experience, that whenever I thought about paint, all I thought about was the color. But surface prep is such a big deal, you know, and I'm so glad that we have partners working with us that can help guide me along the way. So we had a little field trip to Carter's, and I had a little wine stop for me because I deserve nice things. Now, speaking of nice things, let me tell you something. My chest was so tight last week, that's probably why y'all didn't get a show. So remember I tell you about this hire purchase experience, right? Now, I have my things, all's well that ends well. Now, I'm a self-employed person, and I had always heard these horror stories about a hire purchase experience. I did not have a horror story, but there was a small hiccup which I would like to tell you about just for completeness, and so you can also avoid this problem because it was something for me to fix. So to get the hire purchase account set up, because as I said, we at the outer pocket stage and I can't take up no more cash out of my business because I'm going to tell you what the business cash is for soon. I chose some items because I need wardrobes. There really was a nice wardrobe system I wanted to get built, but it's a little out of budget right now. Anyways, I found my things. I was told to get the hire purchase account, I needed to bring 4 months of recent bank statements which were signed by the bank. The reason why the bank is to sign them, because unfortunately some people are out there manipulating bank statements, so they want to see an original stamp and signature from the bank saying that these are authentic. So I brought that along with my ID. So I was told I can get the items, but later in the week I got a call where they were asking for the application, I also had to give them the business registration document. please keep in mind I have a business and not a company. I gave them the copy of the registration document. Later in the week, I was told that credit control requires the application form from Kaipo. I know it's called Business Barbados, so it was Kaipo at the time. So I do not have this, all right? At the time, no one could tell me what they wanted it for. So of course the things are not being delivered. They're not telling me what they specifically want it for. And it's not that I don't want to give it to you, I don't have it. I didn't have the presence of mind to keep it. And the truth is, when I checked back, I never actually did receive it because I registered my business just before COVID. And I remember you gave in the application form and they sent you back the document. Anyways, long story short, the reason why they wanted that document is that they wanted to verify that I was the sole owner of the bank account, because on the document that I got from Kaipo, it would of course be the business is registered, and that business name is what appears on the bank account. There's nothing to say that Pivot Productions is not me and 5 other people. So if I am using the income from Pivot to qualify for this hire purchase facility, they needed to establish that I was the only person on the account. So in the absence of that, someone was able to tell me, their credit control department was able to tell me that if I was able to get a letter from the bank confirming that I am the only signatory on the account, all the money belongs to me, etc., that will satisfy that requirement. Once that was sent in the morning, before the morning was out, I got a little message from my rep saying, Kelly, the account is open and your things are on their way. And they came at night. Somebody was joking and saying that your things is only get delivered at night, but guess what? They came. I am happy and I'm really pleased with the items, and the delivery personnel they were great, and all's well that ends well. So at the house now, we are scampering as fast as Kelly's pocket can allow us to scamper to get the finishing touches done, because the furniture, the bulk of the furniture, is scheduled to come from dwellings early November. And at the time that you're watching it, where are we? Early November. So the house is busy. I also had a visit from the electrician, and all I could say to you about that is that my electrician is not amused, but he's capable. Both of them are. So I would have shared in a previous episode things that I regret and would have done differently. I regret not getting drawings done for the house. I regret not getting an electrical plan. And I've shared in these stories that now that the electricals have been done and the bathroom has been done, I now see where the real value of having a properly laid out blueprint would have guided this project better. Initially, when we had done the wiring for the house, and bless the electrician, I didn't give him a whole lot of guidance. When we had done the wiring for the house, I did tell them that I wanted to have my stove in my kitchen island. So you have those countertop stoves, and y'all may remember they had electricals running in the floor and this little thing sticking up for the longest while. That was the electricals for the stove. Well, as you know, Kelly has gone and lived her best life with her new design for the kitchen. So the electrician comes back and says, so tell me something, ma'am, I see a space for the stove, but you remember telling us that the stove was going here. So fortunately or unfortunately, we need to do a little rewiring, not to cut anything in the counter, but to make sure that the electricals support the new space for the stove. So that is that one was at me. All right, so the whole electrical thing is at me, but bless their hearts, they were very patient, very understanding. They told me what to get, and they said their biggest thing really is just to make the changes in the kitchen. Nothing else materially changes. As you know, we have been to Caribbean LED and we have selected our lighting, and much like Dwellings, Caribbean LED would like to come and drop off them things. So by the time we film again, the lighting will likely be in, because this weekend, when y'all are watching it, we would have gotten the final items that are needed, i.e. I would have gone and paid for them to finish the electrical outfit. And this team of electricians will also be the team that installs the lights. Oh, and in a previous episode, I think when Caribbean LED was at the house, we were saying that we couldn't find the external points for the electrics. Apparently they're there, and I will show where they are. So at least my electrician had the foresight to put them in, because all this time I was here thinking that I was going to have to get solar lamps. Learn from me, guys. Get proper drawings done. So in terms of what else have we been doing, said this before, I work in media production, so there are quite a few projects that Shaka and I are working on for clients, but we also work on things separately. One of the projects that is very much in the advanced stage of production is the new Bajan Renovation Magazine, the bumper edition. Now, I guess it's probably just coincidental that we're here begging a lodging from the Pivot series, because the next magazine is going to be a flip book, meaning that you're going to get your Bajan Renovation and you're going to read it front to back, and then you're going to turn it over and you will also have a copy of the Pivot series. So we are very far along in this publication, and someone was asking, it's a valid question, Kelly, after all of this, what else could you possibly have, what else could we be talking about? So I think we got more things to talk about. This particular publication is what I like to call the great and small outdoors. We're looking at outdoor spaces. We're looking at indoor and outdoor plants. We have a gorgeous feature on plants. We are looking at the use of paint, buying a property from as a non-resident, the legal process that you have to go through for buying a property. There's an article on building for resilience by engineer Greg Paris, which is so good. I really want you all to read that. We also have, the holidays are coming up, so a lot of our decor features are on refreshing your home. But what I love about these articles is that it is not necessarily centered on refreshing your home for Christmas. They're full of style tips and ideas that you can go through the year. And it's not just, as I said, the holiday decor. Of course, there is a place for that, but you'd be able to take it as a companion, as a publication, and say, hey, I can do this now because I'll be able to enjoy this in Easter. When you flip over for Pivot, we have a lovely lineup of women who are refeaturing, and we're looking at what we call women of the culture, women who contribute to various areas of the arts. I won't let too much out of the bag there. We are also doing local holiday gifts, setting up a home bar. We got some good stuff here. So a magazine like this, I believe we're running at 152 pages, which is slightly over our last one. So it has been a labor of love, but our designer Michael Burke has done a fantastic job, along with our writers Geraldine Edward and Amanda Lynch Foster. So along with client work, and you know me out there checking out the people nice things, that is a project that I am really excited to share with you, and you will be seeing it very soon. Now, with regards to the windows, as you know, the windows are in a state, these windows that I so desperately needed to preserve. So the team that is actually painting the doors, some of the materials that I had to get when they sent me to the shop was actually, I don't know if they call it putty or filler or whatever, but I bought it. And that is for them to help repair the frames of the windows, because as you would have seen, the windows, the paint is stripping, they're in rough shape, so they're going to strip off the paint that is there. They may need to build it up in some areas and then paint it over. So that is what's happening with the windows. Also had to get a different style bathroom sink. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, I thought we had purchased the sink. We hadn't, and I'm glad, because we have not optimized the space in the bathroom, because somebody did not have drawings and they just went building a bathroom. But the area where the sink has to go, I cannot find a sink narrow enough for it to make sense. I would always have the sink jutting out in the doorway, which looks silly. And then we had an aha moment. So in the process of looking around for a very tiny sink, tiny to the point that it was stupid, I actually came up upon again Platinum Imports website, and they had some round sinks that were not, they were small, but they were not silly small like what I was looking at. They're small, they're elegant, and they fit the space a lot better than a narrow rectangular sink would have. So I actually just made a decision on that this week, so we're getting that, and I'm gonna, here's a picture of what we are likely to get. It's going to be one of the two of these. Well guys, as I said, it's busy. We need to scamper out of here. We need to pack up, fix back the people's place. I'm actually heading now to meet the designer to sign off on the magazine, on the drafts for the magazine. Shaka is running to a client. Then I have to go and take out these braids because somebody called me Ras the other day, and that's usually a sign that the gig is up. So I hope you guys have a good week. I hope you don't mind my little piece together show. And as I said, all that shaky footage is me, but I trust you could give me some grace. I'm Kelly Johnley, and this is Bajan Renovation.